Well, well, well. No 40 acres and a mule for you betchers. California Democrats has rejected reparations. But they did promise you guys in 2019 and 2020 that they'll give you reparations once they came into power, just like they promised to let billionaires pay their fair share. We're going to tax billionaires. You remember Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Harris and all these people. Social justice and economic reform. Billionaires got to pay their fair share. And you betchers got riled up for that shit. Guess what? You didn't realize it was just to get you to vote. So recently, California Democrats has utterly rejected the reparations bill. But this is not surprising. It's the same thing that was done during the Civil War, okay, by Democrats. They promised you 40 acres and a mule. And guess what? They started to distribute 40 acres and a mule to about 40,000 freedmen, right? Out of millions of slaves that was about to be freed, they get 40,000. And guess what? When Andrew Johnson won and became president, what did he do? He reversed the order number 15 that was given 40 acres and a mule to freed blacks. They took it back. But you bitches don't study your history. You don't learn your history. That is why you always get duped. So the cunning, deceitful, deadly, and evil tactics of the Democrats have not changed in over 150 years. And here is Kamala Harris in her own words while on the campaign trail. Wow. We got her on tape. We got her on tape.
Watch this. Go ahead.
The area of reparations for descendants of Africans enslaved.
Watch.
If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came
Watch what she
across your
says.
desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign that
Yeah, of course. She's saying that during the campaign because in 2020, she wanted to get elected. And look at the response of the crowd. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Emotional bitches. All while she gives that cringy cackle.
By the way, you can pause it. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
I have no idea.
She said she listened to Tupac in college. Bro, Tupac was 10 years old. If you were listening to Tupac in college, you're a pedophile.
But listen to her now when she had a real sit down with someone who was asking real tough questions.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Well, listen.
Anytime someone starts off a conversation with, well, listen, I'm not, they're not sure what they're about to tell you.
Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have...
And here it comes. She doesn't even know what we have right now. But it just goes to show that she doesn't believe in what they're peddling right now. She's like, we have a legal...
segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an...
Look at that young lady's expression who's interviewing her. She's like, ma'am, I ask you a simple question. Are you going to give us reparations or not? I mean, why are you beating around the bush? Get to the point.
equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
Well, good question. But you have to understand, there is nothing particular coming to you guys. What do you want particular? You're still looking for the 40 acres and a mule?
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit.
Okay, so now she's clear. She's not giving you bitches anything for your vote. All she's doing and all she's giving you guys is a little emotional comfort. Like, oh, slavery was bad. Oh, we understand. And then use that as an insult. Use that to emotionally rile you up around election time to get you to vote for them. That's it.
Black children, black families, black homeowners. Because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
Right? Yeah, right? You get it? Huh? But AAPI was specific, right? And it was an executive order passed by Biden, Executive Order 14031, Advisory Commission for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. It was specific to them, huh? So now you understand where you stand on the list of priorities for Biden, for Kamala, and for the Democrats. This is where they put you on the bottom pole, at the bottom. But you bitches still vote in excess of 80% for them. Wow. But why am I not surprised? What happened to the billionaires tax? Remember Elizabeth Warren and all these guys? Like, we're going to get billionaires to pay their fair share. They had the presidency, they had the Senate, and they had the House. And yet still, they didn't table a bill for the billionaires tax. Yet still it wasn't passed. But they riled you guys up in 2020 with these promises. And yet still, after you see that it didn't give you anything that you wanted, you're still going to vote for them. But as Brother Malcolm said, you're nothing but a chump. That's what you guys are, a bunch of chumps. Because you still will turn around and vote for them. Even though they didn't give you squat, you still will turn around and vote for them. Again, you're a bunch of chumps. You're nothing but a bunch of chumps. And I must say, not just regular chumps, but emotional chumps.